So let's slide all the way to the back of the chair and slide all the way to the front of the chair and slide all the way to the find how it sits, what it feels like. Oh wow, look what I got. I guess I went into something full with the hitchhikers and camper. The back of the chair. And notice how you're doing it. What are you doing to get to the front? And what are you doing to get to the back? Some of us are getting smarter and bring a little cushion from butts on the chairs. And slide into the front. What are you doing with your feet? What are you doing with your knees? Are your knees going in? Are they going out? Do they stay aligned? How much are you helping with your hands? Try to do like a little mini study on what it takes. Are you lifting the sitting bones off as you're going forward? Are you sliding straight back? Or are you lifting? Are you using one side of the pelvis more than the other? Are your feet involved? Think that you're in school and you have to write a paper on the stages of sliding from the back of the chair to the front of the chair. How much can you say about sliding from the front to the back and from the back to the front? Who is the main player? I think I told you the story that when I was a kid and my father would drive to Jerusalem, which is a mountain, and he had a little car and it was always stick shift. He would, when we get to the mountains of Jerusalem, he would start helping the car with his upper body. Like the car doesn't know how to do the car. And notice if you're doing the same thing, if you're leaning forward to get that movement. Or what would happen if you did not lean forward and you tried to slide? Where would the strength come from? Does the weight of your head helps in shifting the weight so you can slide forward? And keep on asking questions. And let's try to now walk with the hip backwards. And walk with the hip forward. So now we are lifting and bringing it forward. Does it make it any easier? Is it a possibility that you can use it sometimes? How does it feel in terms of freeing the pelvis and the lower back? Does it create more pain? Does it release and create movement in your lower back? Is it only my chair that makes this noise?
It's always on chair.
Oh, okay, because I can hear it so loud underneath me. And how big are the steps when you're walking with your hip. Can you start making it like a little dance? Like you're really intent. And you want to make it as easy as possible, as graceful as possible. And imagine that your pelvis, as it comes up and back, is drawing a line in the air. What would that line be like? Is it like a rainbow? Is it half a circle? How tall? Meaning how high do you lift your hip? Is the drawing on the right the same as the drawing on the left? Is one side lower? Is one side wider, big, and rest in the back? Did you get some feedback, information about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. Inhale. Exhale. And notice where the back is touching the chair. And get kind of comfortable because we're going to use the back of the chair now as if we are laying on the floor. So everything that we're doing now, we can also do in bed or on a mattress on the floor, on a, like a cushion on the floor. So inhale and lift your arms as you inhale. And exhale as you lower the arms. And see if you can create the lifting of the arm by the inhalation, so that adding the air into your lung is supporting that lifting, and the exhalation is deflating. So yeah, we can lift the arm as a muscle work, but see if you can create that inhalation, that widening of the ribs, that lifting of the ribs is what's making the arm come up. So we're trying to preserve and not use more tension that's needed. And if you do Tai Chi, that makes a lot of sense to you. You really feel that because and the next time we inhale, we're going to stay there, wherever your arms are. Just notice if your one arm is in front of the other, if you can look without moving your head. If you can see from the side, do you see one finger is more than the other? And take the arm is a little bit more forward. And bring it to your shoulder, the finger to the shoulder, and start sliding that hand across your chest as if you're trying to reach the other hand. And notice when the shoulder is leaving the floor, the back of the chair, and how far you can go on that arm without strain, and then come back. And rest. So we're going to work here, which is, holding the arms. It's getting heavy. So you're in charge to create the ease and comfort. You're welcome to lower the arms after every time, after 2 times, whatever feels right to you. Okay? So we inhale with the breath. You observe your muscles on your back and how they're supporting you because you're laying on the floor, so to speak. And we are sliding. Notice what your eyes are doing, what your neck is doing. And does your shoulder, your left shoulder, right shoulder that you're working with, is leaving that back of the chair. how much of the ribs are lifting off that so-called floor, and then you come back. You're so intent on what you're doing. And rest whenever you need to. It's not a test to how long we can keep our arms up. So what we're trying to create is a movement that will involve the shoulder, will involve the ribs, will actually maybe even involve the opposite leg, so we can go as much as we can. So we're trying to create an organic spiral through the whole body. So that, just keep that as a picture in mind as we keep on.
So it's okay for this shoulder to leave the back. We're not just trying to go this far.
No, it's not an exercise. This would be an exercise. How far can I stretch?
So
We're not doing this. We are actually going. Okay? All right, so it's your own time. Is it okay if I'm done, or do you need me to talk? Talk or not talk? Talk?
Talk.
Talk. Okay. Inhale. Let the lungs support you, and when you're ready, and your back is nice and supported on that back chair, find a way in how your eyes, how your exhalation, how the whole of you is part of that reaching, and how far you can go without straining, without extra stretching. And when it needs to come back, you come back. Which rib participate, which ribs does not want to move. If you have a place where your back does not want to move, you may choose to stay there and just inhale and exhale to that spot. So you are the designer of the canvas. This is our canvas. And you decide if you're going to stay in a certain spot and make the pencil drawing a little bit darker, or you're going to soften it with your breath. The only thing that stays stable is that arm and shoulder that you're moving towards. And get curious to see at what point your eyes are following the fingers. How much is the hand touching your body gives you a feedback and information. Are you lifting the hip bone on the side that's moving towards the stable arm? Is your elbow down, or is your elbow part of your hand? Is there a connection between the hand that's traveling and the elbow? Is it like an arrow? This movement always reminds me of bow and arrow. And the next time you come to the center, just let it rest for a minute. And close your eyes so you can go into your inner vision and sensation and awareness. And just breathe and see if you can feel a difference between the side that moved to the side that did not move yet, that was stable. In terms of the density, the airiness, the breadth, and let's put the hands on the chair again, and let's walk with the hip forward and see if it made a difference with the side that's moved. Is the arcing of the hip is a little bit different? Can you sense the difference? Okay. Shall we do the other side? And inhale with the lungs, supporting the arm that's being lifted by the breath. And when you're ready, notice how you bring this hand into your chest and how you touch your chest. Are you firm? Are you tentative? Are you loving? Are you supporting? Is your eyes following this movement? Is your shoulder moving before the ribs? How far are you going comfortably here? Is it very different from the other side? And when you're ready to come back. Again, you're noticing how the whole system, the eyes, the head, is supporting that coming back. And start playing, maybe moving the thumb up towards the ceiling or forward. And notice if that makes any difference on the arm that's stable. Something we didn't do on the other side, we didn't pay attention at all to the stable arm. And where is the limitation? Is it on the side that's moving, or is it on the side that's now stable? Can you tell which rib is the one that does not want to let you go any further? And don't push it. Just notice it. And the next time, try to move something. Just make a tiny little variation and see if that will help. And the next time you come back, let's relax for a minute. I want to share with you kind of something that I go through, and maybe it will help you see something inwardly. So when I do this side, when I go I do my eyes and my head and I follow, and my shoulder goes away from the floor, and I get to the ribs. I feel the stuckness is actually on the stable side, and I get stuck. But if I allow to create a jump and move my pelvis, now I can spiral from the way down up. Does it make sense? So try to figure out what makes sense in the way that your puzzle is created. And once you know what makes it, you can start opening up and softening, and then maybe it will go better from the top down, like we're trying. Okay, so let's just play with it.
Are you lifting your buttock in the moving side?
So I go here and I get stuck.
Yeah.
So I'm moving my pelvis and now I'm going upwards, continuing.
Okay.
So I go halfway down and then I go halfway up. Maybe another way would be to start from the pelvis and go up, 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 up. So just play with it. There's no right and wrong. But the more you know about, because my stuckness here is something that I'm not using in my day-to-day life and in the way that I'm probably breathing. That area right here is not breathing. So to stretch it will be one way, the way that we all know about. But to enable it and find how to get to it is another way, which we're trying to explore here. Make sense? All right. So inhale with the lungs supporting you, and when you're ready, the hand is coming, and see if the touching can actually guide, can be an information. For me, if I turn my thumb, I'm lifting my ribs and it helps me get a little bit further into that area that I just spoke about. And that's another way for me to open up that area. So you don't necessarily need to do what I do, but it's just like a glimpse into how to explore. And come back to the center and rest your arms. So I see that some of you are already lifting the legs. So let's look at it a little bit deeper. So it's not, I'm lifting the legs because I know that this is where it's coming, but let's see if we can sense it. So we're gonna bring the arms by breathing in. We're gonna go back to your first arm. You're gonna reach with the shoulder and the ribs and allow the hip on that side to come up. Allow the hip, not the leg, allow the hip to come up. And then bring it down. So we're not lifting legs right now. We're just finding the connection between, once you go, then the hip on that side is continuing. Okay? So let's work with it for a little bit. So we'll do 4 on one side and then we'll do 4 on the other side in your own tempo. So inhale. Notice if the right foot is getting more weight on the floor as you're lifting the hip of that side. I mean, for me it's the right, and you have your own leg. The leg that your hip is being lifted. The side that you're moving rather than the side that you're stable. Are you pushing your foot into the floor to lift the hip? Are your ribs moving one by one by one by one by one? Or are they moving as one chunk? Is your hip becomes partner of the reaching out to the stable side? Is it coming back together with the rest of you? And let's do one more on that side, or however you're doing it. Can your body tell you the wisdom of who comes first, what happens next, who gets out of the chair last? When I went to college, one of the things that stayed with me was an old Chinese proverbs of the heaviness is the source of lightness. And the pelvis is the heaviest part.
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry, I have competition. The heaviness is the source of lightness.
The heaviness is the source of lightness?
Yes.
No, I heard, okay.
So the pelvis is the heaviest part in the body, and we have the biggest, largest muscles here. Can you make that become the lightness? Can that be that lifting of the pelvis can create the lightness of the reaching? So we do a little poetry. Do I need to speak louder? No, it's okay. When you're ready, respond. It's not something I usually do, but I'm curious to hear what insight you had, if you can say a word or two on the exploration.
One side was easier. Or maybe it's just the more we do it, the more it's making sense as to what we're trying to do. And that makes it easier. So I don't know, but this side is easier for me. But it was the second side, so not sure.
Yeah, I had the same.
The same idea?
Yeah, one side was really hard and the other one was not.
Which side was either done in hand or
Yeah.
done in hand was easier?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Plus, I have a lot of damage in my left shoulder. So I found all the crunchy bits.
Uh-huh. And in terms of finding the connection from the movement of the hand all the way to the foot,
The hip really helped.
I think the whole thing really helped me. I mean, I have a body history of a lot of broken bones here because of bad automobile accidents that we ran in my car. And wow, I've carried that for so many years, the compromised. And I think this will help me to ease up some of that history, really. Because I've extended it in my,
right, and for you to move the ribs is,
yeah, it's very helpful.
Yeah, I can't really feel the ribs separately.
separately. How about the lifting of the pelvis? Did it help in reaching further?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna go into the last part of it, that we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna inhale, we're gonna reach, we're gonna lift. And now we're gonna send the stable leg out so we can rotate out of the chair, okay? We're gonna send the stable leg out. But just as much as it feels right to you. There's no right way to do it. But notice if it goes straight, if it turns, just the normal thing. So we'll walk together. So we're gonna inhale and allow the fullness of the lungs to lift our arms. And let's start with the second side now. Your second side. So the eyes are moving, the head is moving, the fingers are tentatively or very safely taking you forward as the ribs are leaving the support, as the pelvis is going up, as the stable leg is reaching and moving out. So you can roll on the floor and you're laying on your side. And then you're gonna relax the leg and you're gonna come there. And you're gonna have to adjust so we can do the other side. Yeah, for some things it helps and for something it doesn't. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna inhale and we're gonna lift the arms with the power of our lungs. And we're gonna do the first side. And again, which finger is the one that's leading? How much is the shoulder moving? When do the ribs join in? When is the waist joining? When is the pelvis coming up? The hip? How far are you going? And before you feel tension, you take the stable leg, you lengthen it, and you're reaching with it until you're laying on your side. And then you come back. Make sense? So if I were on the floor, I'm reaching, and this leg is now reaching out so I can come all the way. Okay? We can do it on the chair, but this is the idea. Okay. So play with it. see if the stable arm, if you rotate the thumb up and backwards, if that helps. And be creative, there's no right or wrong. The only wrong thing is falling off the chair. Maybe the arms can go in different height now. Just stay away from stretching. We're so conditioned to try to get somewhere. Be in the kind of in curiosity of it. When you get to the back of the chair, see if you can change the position of the arm and actually turn all the way towards the back of the chair, if it makes sense to your body. But don't force it. So the chest is facing the back of the chair. Does it make sense to you what I'm saying? Okay. Let's glide to the front of the chair. And we're going to inhale. And we're going to go with the arm towards the other arm. And we're going to twist the pelvis. And we're going to allow the legs to come with us. And we're going to move facing the back of the chair. And the same arm will come to the towards. The first arm will come back. And we come to the front of the chair. And we rest. So we have to twist everything. Which is what nature does. Every leaf does. Nothing new. So inhale. We'll do the other side. We're going to take the arm touching the other arm. And at a certain point, the hip has to start twisting and the legs following. And the other arm is going back. Along the arm, along the chest, and you're twisting all the way, or maybe not, depending on your spine and how much of it can rotate. Anatomically, every vertebra has the ability to rotate. If your shoulder is hurting, then do it lower. Find a way to do it so it doesn't aggravate injury. But if still get the ribs to support you wherever you are, okay? And once you feel comfortable, see if you can find a rhythm that's maybe a little bit more flowing, a little bit faster. Let's stop just for a second. I see some of you are getting into exercise. So you do this, you get here, now you open your arms and oh, look how beautiful I am. It's always touching, always going through the shoulder down through the ribs. So I don't care how far you're going back, but it's not tatami. You know. Look at me. It's that connection because we want to be able to get up. This is what it is. It's the getting up. Okay? So let's do this just a couple more times and then we'll see if we can get up. Only if it feels safe. So inhale. And touching the chest, touching the arm, changing arms. And now the back arm is touching the chest, touching the arm, coming back, and going to the other side. And the hand is always connected. And don't stop anywhere. See if you can just create a continuous and come to the center for me and rest your arms and open your legs wide and twist without the arm and twist.
You can't stay on the edge of the chair. I keep winding back.
I do too.
I don't know how
These
to
chairs
do
are
it.
not great.
That's what we have. Sorry. If you really can't and you want to do it in sitting, it's going to be this. Coming up, coming up, coming up. Okay, it's that movement. It's finding that arabesque climb on the twist from the pelvis, rotate, 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 and the arabesque climb. You know, it's coming back, rotating to lifting the head and neck in relationship to my lumbar. Coming back, and maybe try it on the edge of the table that's straighter. But that's all that I have to offer. No, I'm too short for that. But it's that rotation that will help me get up. Don't rely on the sitting. You're barely, you know, it's like a spring for getting up.
You have to go on the edge of the chair so you can slide back. It's done. So.
Open your legs a little wider.
And you're staying on your toes, right?
I'm lifting my heels, I'm rotating One hip is now off the floor, off the chair completely. I'm sitting just on one sitting bone.
Okay, as long as I'm on my toes, I was
Yeah.
trying to stay too flat on my feet. Okay, it's easier.
But more than the getting up, I want you to feel the relationship between the lumbar and the lengthening of the head and neck. As you're rotating, and it's that lifting. And we can work on the legs next week. Will give me something to think about. All right, let's come to the center. Sit wherever you want to sit, however you want to sit. And if your eyes want to shut down, welcome them to shut down. And take a minute to observe the inner space of your lungs, the space of your shoulders and how they're hanging. The placement of the pelvis on the chair and the support of the legs underneath it. And how you feel inside yourself. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And thank you.